Hi there, it's delighted to see you again on Into Vietnam, broadcast on VITV channel. It's August the 27th, and here are the headlines. Vietnam's budget deficit hits 89 trillion Vietnam dollars by the middle of August. Non-performing loans of the whole system rise to 4.32% year-on-year by end of June. And a report on competitiveness enhancement, which should boost Vietnam's economic growth. The state budget's collection by the middle of August was worth 538.8 trillion dollars, while the state spending hit 627.9 trillion dollars. The information was revealed by the General Statistics Office.
As of August the 15th, state budget revenues stood at 538.8 trillion dong, or 68.8% of the year plan. Of the total, 336.7 trillion dong was from domestic collection, or 68% of the plan, 64 trillion dong from crude oil, or 75.1% of the plan, 103.7 trillion dong from trade activities, or 67.3% of the whole year target. State budget spending hit 627.9 trillion dong, equivalent to 62.4% of the year plan, in which 104.9 trillion dong was for development investment, and 101.7 trillion dong of which was for basic construction. Spending on socio-economic development, security and state management worth 445.4 trillion dong, and for national loans, 77.6 trillion dong. As a result, by the middle of August, state budget deficit hit 89 trillion dong.
The State Bank of Vietnam reported by the end of June 2014, non-performing loans of the whole system were at 160.9 trillion Vietnam dollars, rising of 21.5% compared to May 2014, 38.2% compared to December 2013, and 4.23% on year. Bad debts and the non-performing loans ratio increased significantly in June 2014, especially after the Circular 02 regulations on debt classification and took effect from June 1st, 2014. However, the banking system is actively processing non-performing loans with drastic measures to curb and handle the good fried debts by putting aside risk provisions. Bad debts handled by risk provisions have increased recently and will reach the highest level at the end of the year when banks promote non-performing loans handling. Therefore, the SBV thought that after rising, non-performing loans would drop at the end of the year, and risk provisions would limit the impact of increasing group-wide debts to banking operations. By the end of June, the remaining provisions of the system reached 77.3 trillion Vietnam dollars, up 10.9% compared to the end of 2013. If all of those provisions were used to handle bad debts, non-performing loan ratio of the system could be reduced to about 2.2%. Two years after economic reform towards improving the national competitiveness, Vietnam still falls into low competitive economies group as graded by international organizations. It's crucial that the economic restructuring process increase its pace so that Vietnam's economy can develop sustainably.
The World Bank Global Competitiveness Index 2013-2014 ranked Vietnam the 70th out of 148 countries across the globe, up 5 notes from 2012 to the 2013 report, but down 11 notes compared with 2010-2011 report by the World Bank. The country's Business Environment Index was at the 99th position, dropped 9 points from 2012.
Nền kinh tế nước ta hiện nay đã bộc lộ không ít yếu kém nội tại. Tăng trưởng GDP đang có xu hướng chậm lại. Chất lượng tăng trưởng, hiệu quả và năng lực cạnh tranh của nền kinh tế còn thấp. Quy mô các ngành kinh tế còn nhỏ và phân tán. Sản xuất công nghiệp phần lớn còn ở dạng gia công, lắp ráp, giá trị gia tăng nội địa thấp. Thực tế trên cho thấy việc tái cơ cấu nền kinh tế, chuyển đổi mô hình tăng trưởng trở nên cần thiết và cấp bách.
Obviously, incapable management and complicated administrative procedures are weakening Vietnam's competitiveness in comparison with regional countries.
We have to say that the tax system in Vietnam what we publish every year, and we have general topics we come back year by year or time to time, like the role of the state-owned enterprises. They belong to the 40% of the
Investment Promotion Agency under the Ministry of Planning and Investment reported in July 2014, FDI attraction in Vietnam dropped 19.9% on year and stood at $9.53 billion. The figures imply unless Vietnam speed up economic reforms, its competitiveness will not get better and fail to attract foreign investment.
Cải cách thể chế để làm cho thị trường vận hành tốt hơn, đặc biệt là thị trường nhân tố sản xuất, và các thị trường này phải đóng vai trò quyết định trong phân bổ nguồn lực. Cải cách thể chế để làm cho môi trường kinh doanh tốt hơn. Cải cách thể chế để làm cho những cái market distortion, những cái méo mó của thị trường giảm đi, tạo ra một cái thị trường, một cái môi trường kinh doanh bình đẳng về cơ hội và thông thoáng, tạo thuận lợi cho hoạt động của doanh nghiệp.
Đối với doanh nghiệp thì buộc các doanh nghiệp phải cạnh tranh một cách bình đẳng về giá và chất lượng dịch vụ. Thì đòi hỏi là các doanh nghiệp phải tái cơ cấu, giảm chi phí, tinh gọn bộ máy, cải tiến kỹ thuật sản xuất và nâng cao chất lượng dịch vụ. Và chính phủ thì cái cạnh tranh sẽ giúp cho việc chính phủ thúc đẩy cải cách chính sách, loại bỏ các rào cản về gia nhập thị trường để từ đó thu hút cái chính sách đầu tư.
Vietnam's determination to overhaul the whole economy was stated in the government decision 339 on economic reforms towards improving competitiveness in 2013-2020 period. However, the country has to take a long step to realize the goals.
Ho Chi Minh City achieved robust economic growth in the first 8 months, creating favorable conditions to fulfill its socio-economic targets for the full year.
According to a recent report from Ho Chi Minh City Department of Planning and Investment, the city retail sales and services were worth over $420.7 billion, a 12.7% year-on-year rise. The biggest contributor to growth was household utensils, fuel and transportation. Exports total $18.56 billion, an increase of 2.3%, following August shipments of $2.24 billion. Imports jumped by 10.8% in August, though at $15.6 billion. The value for the year-to-date fell 9.1%. The Industrial Production Index has been rising consistently this year, with some major sectors like mechanical engineering, electronics, chemicals, rubber, plastic, and food processing reporting a 7.5% increase year-on-year. The city plans to restructure these industries by focusing on processing and manufacturing and reducing the contribution of mining. So far this year, the city authorities have issued licenses to 241 projects with a total investment of $1.06 billion, a 7.3% increase in number, but an 80.3% jump in value.
The Ministry of Finance recently required petrol distributors and dealers not to revise the import tax on petrol and oil products until the end of this year. The ministry announced in a legal document that the tax on petrol, diesel, matches, and kerosene would remain at 18%, 40%, 16%, and 50% respectively. The Finance Ministry said that the current import taxes on petrol and oil products were lower than the regulated amount. As was said, the non-revision of the import tax is considered to be a good way of preventing the smuggling of petrol to neighboring countries and of enabling the development of domestic petroleum plants and reducing dependence on imported petroleum products. Doji Gold and Gems Group has become the first Vietnamese enterprise to receive a license from the government to measure gold content in jewelry traded in the domestic market. The Directorate for Standards, Metrology and Quality of the Ministry of Science and Technology granted the license to Doji Group last week. The move came after the ministry issued Circular 22, which took effect last June, aims to cope with the long-term lack of control in gold content management in the domestic market. It requires that the standards of quality and measurement of gold jewelry traded in the local market be written as a product code with accurate gold content. Last July, the Asia Commercial Bank received a similar license from the Directorate for the testing of the title and content of gold to ensure proper market management. The program will grab up with local gold prices, forex, and stock markets. Well, that's the news on VITV. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. Goodbye for now.